In today's video, I'm going to be talking about genetics. I'm going to be discussing the difference between good versus bad genetics, specifically when it comes to bodybuilding, building muscle, building strength, and looking aesthetically pleasing. Genetics play a significant role, and I mean probably around 60% of your potential when it comes to building physique, building strength, and looking aesthetic is down to your genetics. And that may be an unfortunate truth, but that is not to say you cannot build an impressive physique just because you have bad genetics. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be diving into the difference between signs of good genetics and signs of bad genetics. There is a large gray area when it comes to genetics. Some people may tick the boxes in some categories, but not tick the boxes in others. And some people may appear to have bad genetics, but in reality, they may have good genetics. It really is ambiguous. Genetics play a significant role in determining your ability to do certain things. For example, if me and LeBron James were to train exactly the same, eat exactly the same, sleep exactly the same, have the same exact mindset, that would make no difference to me getting even close to getting into the NBA just based off our difference in genetics. And you might say LeBron James works really hard, but if LeBron James did not have the genetics, the God-gifted talent, he would not be LeBron James. Although you may work hard, although you may do everything right, at the end of the day, your genetics do play a significant role in determining the course of whatever you are trying to pursue. The first indicator of good genetics is how fast you build muscle. Some people just have a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers. Maybe they were athletes growing up. Maybe they've inherited gifted genetic traits from their athletic parents. It could take someone with bad genetics to pack on the same amount of muscle tissue in, let's say, 2-3 years even, as someone with good genetics can pack on within 6 months. That is the power of genetics. The same goes for strength. If you are unable to get past a strength plateau, chances are you do not have the best genetics for gaining strength. However, that is not to say you cannot get past it. There are many ways to get past plateaus, strength plateaus, but some people just have freakish genetics where every week they can just go up and up and up in weight, up and up and up in size, and that's just how it is. But that is not a limiting factor to your ability to gain strength and gain muscle. You can definitely build muscle, you can definitely build strength, you can definitely get past that plateau. It's just gonna be harder for you and it's just gonna take longer for you if you have slightly poor genetics. Another significant factor when it comes to genetics is your bone structure. We're all born with a certain bone structure, which cannot be changed no matter what you do, no matter what you take. People with good genetics are seen to have wide clavicles and a small waist. This gives the appearance of an aesthetic look, which by the industry standard is what classifies good genetics. Some people are just gifted with a tiny waist and wide shoulders, and once they pack on muscle, they just look crazy. Whereas some people may add the same amount of muscle, even more, but if they don't have the correct bone structure for the aesthetic look, then chances are they won't look as good. If you do not have wide clavicles and a small waist naturally, just because of your bone structure, doesn't mean you cannot become aesthetic, does not mean you cannot build an impressive physique. I really want to stress that genetics are not the be-all end-all of building an impressive physique. Just make sure that you target the muscle groups which add to your V-taper. Another really important one is your muscle bellies and your muscle insertions. For those of you who don't know what muscle bellies and muscle insertions are, it's basically how your muscles look on you. If we compare me and C-Bum, as you can see, I have bad chest genetics. I have poor muscle insertions. They aren't symmetrical. One pec is bigger than the other. They aren't connected like C-Bum's. Muscle insertions play a huge role, not in determining how much muscle you can put on, not determining how much strength you can gain, but determining what do you look like. People with the same amount of muscles put next to each other won't look the same because obviously of bone structure, of the things I've talked about, but also because of muscle insertions. That's just how it is. That's just what genetics do. There's nothing you can do about that. That doesn't mean you cannot build an impressive physique. It just means that you're gonna have a different look to the likes of C-Bum and Arnold and all these guys with insane, unrealistic genetics. They're always posting the best pictures of themselves with a pump in good lighting. A lot of these guys you see online with insane physiques are taking performance-enhancing drugs. For example, let's take a look at me versus C-Bum again. C-Bum is the Mr. Olympia. You cannot be Mr. Olympia without taking performance-enhancing drugs. So Chris Bumstead is not natural, obviously, but that's not to say that he's only achieved this physique and he's only won the Mr. Olympia because he takes drugs. No, most people who would take what he's taking would not look anywhere near as impressive as C-Bum looks. That is his genetics responding very, very well to the drugs which he's taken. Obviously, I am natural. I don't take anything, so I don't know how well I respond to PEDs. I cannot tell whether I have good genetics or bad genetics for that, and I will never ever take PEDs. They're bad. Another underrated indicator of good genetics falls under two separate categories: your metabolism and how much you can eat. Some people just have a crazy metabolism where they can eat like shit, eat so much food, and still look 10 times leaner and still keep on the same amount of size than you. Some people have an insane appetite which allows them to eat way more and therefore assist their muscle building process, whereas someone with poor appetite will struggle to eat as much and therefore will struggle to grow as much. That is just how genetics come into play. Your mental strength, how well you can cope with stress, they can determine how well you can sleep, how much you can eat, all these things which are directly linked to how much muscle you can build, how much strength you can build, and the physique you can get, tie into genetics. So there's many other factors. Were you an athlete growing up? If you are good at sports like football or basketball, or chances are you also will not only find it easier and improve your chances of building impressive physique, building muscle, building strength, but also considering you enjoyed all these sports which you played, if you do get into the gym and you do start training, you will enjoy that. That's also your genetics coming into play. At the end of the day, you can never tell if you are a muscular kid naturally when you're like 12, then yes, you have a 90% chance that you do have good genetics for muscle building. However, I know people who were skin and bones when they were younger and have transformed into monsters after going to the gym. In conclusion, don't take this video as a discouragement. As I said, there's a massive gray area when it comes to genetics. You can never really tell whether you have good or bad genetics for building muscle, building strength, or building an impressive physique if you have not trained for 3 to 5 years. Every single person on this planet who consistently goes to the gym and does what he's supposed to do, after 3 years will have an impressive physique. And you have to believe that you do have good genetics. You have to believe that you can build an impressive physique, because if you believe you can, you will achieve. And instead of focusing on the things which you can't control, like your genetics, instead focus on the things that you can control. Focus on becoming a better person, focus on becoming smarter, focus on becoming stronger, focus on building up your physique. If you do so, you will see progress. And once you realize that you have control over your mind and you have control over your body, this will give you the confidence boost, the happiness boost you're looking for. So I do really encourage you guys not to be discouraged by this good versus bad genetics. I do not have the best genetics, and yet, objectively speaking, I have built an impressive physique. So it is possible, although they do play a significant role. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This video is stressing how important a role genetics play in determining how strong you can get, how fast you can build muscle, how well you can build muscle, how much muscle you can build, how good you look given your muscle insertions, your muscle bellies, your commitment, your attitude. However, you cannot rely solely on your genetics. You also have to put in the work. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this vid. I hope I've made it clear on how important genetics are to building muscle, specifically with regards to, bodybuilding and building an impressive physique. Hopefully you can understand yourself better now and examine yourself to see whether you have some signs of good genetics, some sign of bad genetics, and what areas to work on given your genetics. Peace.